Hi guys, happy Valentine's Day. For your present, you get an explanation of the rhetorical analysis paper. I've had a few of you email me asking me some questions about the paper, so I thought I would just do a little tutorial for you. And hopefully this will answer some of your questions. If not, please email them to me. So I have up here on the screen the assignment paper sheet. You can find this in a folder on iLearn under assignment sheets, description, scoring guides, or something like that. Um, I just added some notes to it right here for you so you can review it and see what you have in store for this paper. So, paper specifics. You do need to direct or pretend that your audience is me. Well, it is, but also your classmates. And the question usually comes up, can I use the personal I then if I'm talking to my classmates? And the answer is yes and no. Okay. Professional writing never uses the personal I. So your paper is considered better written if you can avoid using it. But in this type of paper, and also a little bit in the synthesis paper, it's hard to avoid on some levels because you are responding to the author and the author's voice. So what we've been told as instructors at BYUI is to judge whether or not you have an overwhelming amount of the personal I in your paper or not. That sounds a little vague. I would say read through it. Come here, sit down. Read through your paper after you have written it, and if you notice, or if someone, a roommate or a family member notices that you've used the personal I a lot, a distracting amount, go through and try to take them out. I have my little buddy here with me. Okay, your paper should be around 6 pages long, and that doesn't include the last page that just has your citation of the one article that you've used. It's not about page counts or word counts as much as it is about the depth of analysis that 6 pages of writing does show. And yes, you need to use MLA citation. You can find some helpful links on the internet. Specifically, I'd say the Purdue OWL is an excellent spot to find up-to-date MLA citation rules. But 10 points of the paper are allotted to whether or not you've used correct MLA citation. So it's an easy 10 points to boost the grade of this paper, or it's an easy 10 points to lose. So if you have any questions about them, ask them, and don't turn it in without MLA style. Still turn it in, but try not to lose those points. Okay, so you'll have an introduction, approximately 1 paragraph, and then you will have a summary of your article. So the first note that I have for you here is, remember that in a summary, you do want to include the author's name, his or her credentials, the title of the article, as well as where it was published. So try to keep that summary around 250, 300-ish words. The reason is it's a good practice in being concise. We're not trying to tell everyone everything the article said. We can go and find it and read it if we want to know that, but we do need a summary of the most important things that it is essential that we know about the argument made in the paper. Okay, so the note here in iLearn says to make sure you use the CREAC model. Okay, for some of us that works really, really well, and for others of us, just trying to think about the whole CREAC model is a little bit distracting. So basically, it's really just writing good paragraphs like hopefully you already know how to do with the topic sentence, with the reasoning that supports that point you're making in the topic sentence, a paraphrase, a quote from the article if you need it, and then wrapping it up, summarizing what you said in that paragraph and analyzing it if necessary. So it's really just BYU Idaho's way of saying, let's teach you how to write well. All right, so we talk about logos in the first section. And it says in there to make sure you talk about logical fallacies. Yes, make sure you do. Okay, some of you can't find logical fallacies in your article, and so don't want to write about it. But I would say, yeah, there are a few excellent writers out there that can be completely unbiased, not have any logical fallacy at all, but probably 95% of the time, you will find some sort of breakdown in the logic of the argument. And make sure that you don't just say, this is a logical fallacy. Label it with one of the terms that we've used. There are some great ones suggested in the course. There are a bunch of other ones you can look up on the internet. But if it's a bandwagon, call it a bandwagon. If it's an oversimplification, if it's a red herring, those are all official terms for logical fallacies. And you will want to find one and decide what type of logical fallacy that your author is using. For ethos, most of us are doing a pretty good job with ethos. Some of us are still confusing ethos with ethics. It's easy to do since the two words are similar. But ethos really means credibility. So you want to talk about how the author makes you believe his or her argument is credible. Don't overlook the fact that if they list their education or their amazing career that they've had, that is part of convincing you that they're worth listening to, convincing you that they have credibility, but it's not limited to that. What types of word choice do they use? Do they use credible outside sources? Do they have any evidence at all? Or are they using data? Those types of things help us to understand whether an article, whether an argument is credible or not. The last part, pathos, that is your appeal to emotions, which most of us are very familiar with. Think about, if you're struggling with it, think about how the article, the argument overall makes you feel, and then think about what the author does to make you feel that way. Is it through word choice? Is it through descriptions? Amazing descriptions. Yeah. Again, no overwhelming use of the personal I, and then make sure that you conclude. And at the end of the conclusion, instead of just summing up your thesis statement, you do need to have a so what or a greater, wider implication of the article, the argument made in the article. Sorry for my distracting son. My last note to you is to make sure that you use the words ethos, pathos, and logos as you write this paper. Okay, I don't want to just have you talk about credibility and evidence and emotions without those terms, because those are the terms that people who write rhetorical analysis, even professional rhetorical analysis, they use. Ethos, pathos, and logos are the tools we use in the rhetorical analysis trade. So make sure you use the correct terminology there. Also, if you have any other questions, please email me or text me and ask me rather than just turning in a paper unsure whether or not that you have done it correctly. This is, I would say, probably the second hardest paper that we do in the term. Most people that take the course find the synthesis the easiest, but find the rhetorical analysis a little bit difficult and the argument essay most difficult. But this rhetorical analysis, it is a new type of writing for a lot of us. So make sure you please do ask any and all questions that you've got, and I hope you have a wonderful day.